Hey friends, welcome to our homestead. Today I'm going to talk about a topic that I get asked about all the time, and that is how big of a property do I need to buy to have an off-grid homestead? And this is actually a hotly debated topic. I'm going to go through 6 different categories that you should think about when looking for homestead land, and then how much space you should have in each one of those categories. Let's talk about it. So the 6 categories that we are going to talk about are livestock, produce, infrastructure, structures, orchard, and also wood for heating your home. Before I get into those categories and talk about how much space is needed for each one, I'm going to talk about something briefly that I've talked about before, and that is, are any of us truly off-grid or fully self-sustainable? I mentioned in a previous video that I think the only people in the world that are truly self-sustaining are those who are some lost Amazon tribe in the middle of the jungle in Brazil. Because each and every one of us, no matter where we live, has to rely on getting items from somebody else. If you live in a cabin in the north of Alaska and you rely on hunting for your food for your family, you're still buying the ammunition for your rifles. You're still buying potentially arrows for your bow. You're buying fishing tackle for fishing. So we all do rely on one another for what we have. So none of us can truly say we're truly off-grid or self-sufficient. But many of you watching this video, myself included, are striving to be as self-sufficient as we possibly can, and as grid disconnected as we possibly can. Okay, that being said, let's talk about the space needed for an off-grid homestead. And this is a perfect place to start our discussion about livestock. For us, we raise chickens for the eggs. But some of you will want to raise cattle or sheep or goats, have horses, whatever it might be. There are some basic rules of thumb that you need to follow, but with proper pasture management skills and things of that nature, you can maybe get more livestock per acre. And that's what we're looking at, is a per acre basis for this livestock. If you want cows, you need at least 1.5 to 2 acres per cow-calf combination. This is also assuming that all of your livestock is pasture raised, pasture fed, and not grain fed. You can get away with a lot less land if you grain feed them, but you have to buy that grain somewhere. So for this, we're looking at grass fed. For sheep, you can bump it up to about 2 to 4 sheep per acre. Some people bump it up to 6, but that's up to your pasture management skills, because if it's not managed properly and they're in an area where there's a lot of manure, that will invite parasites. For goats, about 3 to 5 goats per acre. Now I know a lot of people have these little cute miniature goats. Obviously you can fit more of them per acre, but if they are pasture raised, then seriously stick to about maybe 10 of those per acre. Then if you do raise pigs, you can get about 15 to 30 pigs on an acre. But they are very destructive to the land, and you need to rotate them around the property a lot, and usually they're not grass-fed. So you would need supplemental feed for them. Now, if you want a horse, you need at least 2 acres per horse. That again assumes that they are pasture feeding. Sadly, out here in East Texas, I've seen way too many horses jammed into small plots of land that are just all muddy, and they're only eating from the trough. I don't think that's any way for a horse to live, personally. Now let's talk about these chickens. You can have comfortably 100 plus hens on an acre of land. And that's of course free ranging them. Now if you look at guys like Joel Salatin, he has come up with some incredibly creative ways to manage the land, and he gets up to 1,000 chickens per acre. I don't know how he does it, but for you and I, we probably want to stick to about 100. So this next category is actually split into 2 with one subcategory. We're going to talk about produce and orchards separately, but within produce, we're also going to talk about grain production. And the reason I want to do that is because grain is a high calorie food. And if you eat a plant-based diet, you need high calories. You can't eat tomatoes and cucumbers and lettuce the entire time. That would not work out well for you. Through all my research over the years, I have landed on a number of 200 square feet per person of your household for in-ground planted food, not including grains. And something that I have in this bed behind me is a high-calorie food, and that's potatoes. You've also seen our videos about Jerusalem artichokes, which is a very high-calorie food, actually 15 million calories per acre. If you want to go check that out, click up here. But in general, for a good variety of fruits and vegetables from your garden, you want about 200 square foot per person. Now, that assumes year-round production. So if you live in an area that you have harsh, long winters, you need to increase that appropriately. So you're going to have to play with those square footage numbers for your specific area. Now, if you want to plant perennials, which I highly recommend, things like berries and asparagus, stuff like that, you need at least 75 square feet of each one of those. So it depends on how much variety you want on your homestead. Now, all of these numbers that I'm calculating assumes a family of 4, which is what we are. You'll have to up that if you have a family of 8 or 12. Now let's talk about grains and our orchard. For an orchard for a family of 4, between 25 and 50 trees is appropriate, depending on where you live. Some varieties of fruit trees are going to have an easier time growing, and they are higher producers than others. Here on my property, we get a lot of pears and figs and grapes. Surrounding areas get a lot of peaches. If you're buying dwarf fruit trees and you're buying 25 fruit trees and set them at a 15-foot spacing from one another, you would have only about 1/8 of an acre covered. 50 fruit trees is going to be a 1/4 acre. If you bump that up to a regular size fruit tree, you should probably increase that by about a factor of 4. So if you have 50 fruit trees, you're going to have about 1 acre planted. Okay, grain is one of the most interesting things, especially like wheat. And I plan on putting that in here on our north property along with some upland rice. I did a video on upland rice in the past, and you can check it out up here. And I did this wheat research a few years back and actually wrote about it on our website. So I'm going to read off some numbers, and it's going to be really, really interesting. So an acre is 43,560 square feet. And if you plant that entire acre with wheat, you will yield about 37 bushels of wheat berries. Now, 1 bushel of wheat berries equals about 60 pounds of wheat flour. So from that 1 bushel of wheat berries, you can yield about 90 1-pound loaves of bread at 2.5 cups of wheat flour per loaf. And remember, that's because the bread rises, there's other ingredients in the bread, so on and so forth. So if you do the math on that, you will get 3,330 loaves of bread per 1 acre of planted wheat per year. That's a lot of bread. So that is plenty for a family of 4. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Structures like your barn, your workshop, your chicken coops, your greenhouse, and your house. Everybody thinks those will take up a lot of space, but they actually do not. For us here, we have about 4,300 square feet of structures here on the property, and that's only 1/10 of an acre. We have a small modest sized house, but if you actually double all of those structures, you're still at only 1/5 of an acre. And the last one that not too many people think about, but is hugely important on your homestead, is infrastructure like roads and circulation space throughout your property. And I'm also including things like solar panels, a pond, your compost piles, your well house, your swales that you've built for drainage and or to retain water in certain areas because you don't want to plant on top of those, and general storage for equipment, hay bales, and things like that. And actually there is one more we need to talk about, and that is wood. If you burn wood to heat your home. Now, this is going to have a lot of different factors that will affect it. So it will affect the size of the land that you have with the amount of trees that you have on that property. According to the University of Illinois Extension offices, of course that's in a cold state, you would need between 45 and 55 5-inch trees for 1 cord of wood, or 1 22-inch wide tree for a cord of wood. That will vary depending on species of trees, of course, but those are average numbers. Just take that and multiply that by the amount of cords of wood you will burn per year for your home. The average number of cords burned in states like Minnesota, Michigan, and Maine, which are all very cold states, is about 8 or a little over 8 cords per year. You could burn more. I know my uncle in northern Michigan burns more, but his house is very old and has almost 0 insulation. So the amount of acreage that you need for that will also depend on how densely those trees are planted. Okay, all those categories being said, all those calculations, I'm going to give you a range on a minimum for your property. And that'll depend on what you are using it for. So between 3 acres at minimum to 13 acres minimum if you have a decent amount of livestock. That's the sweet spot where you want to get to. If you're heating for most of the year with firewood, you're going to need to find a property with a lot of trees. That could be upwards of 100 acres. Now there's something else that I didn't mention in those categories, and that is privacy. If you are buying a 3-acre plot of land, you are probably going to have neighbors very close within eyesight of your home. If that's okay with you, then cool. But if you don't want to be seen by your neighbors on a daily basis, you should have a property of minimum 20 acres and then up to about 40. Because if you place a home in the center of a 40-acre wooded area, nobody's really going to see you. So friends, I'm giving you a vision, a minimum to aim for, but everybody is different and I am not you. This is simply my opinion from living on 8 acres for 10 years and growing up on 2.5 acres in Michigan. And there are a lot of factors that you need to calculate for your personal needs. And then that will translate into how much property that is good for you. If you want to be a cattle rancher, you're going to need a lot more property than a market gardener. If you live in the desert, you might need more property than if you live in a forest. Okay friends, I hope this helps you answer that very important question. If you have any questions or comments, leave them for me in the comment section below the video. Now YouTube tells me you are going to absolutely love this video of mine, so go check it out. Have a beautiful, blessed day, and we will see you on the next video. Bye.